up, everybody? This is your girl CC with WIB Magazine, and I got my co-host on the line with me. Hey, Mickey Monday, how are you today?
I'm doing well. See, how are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday.
Thank you. We have a special guest on the line. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here with you all today. I am Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and I am a sports reporter based in the DMV area where I work with Fox Sports Radio, hosting my own show, Listen In with KNN. And I also work with the Washington football team, hosting 3 of their shows, The Fit and The Life, which are more kind of lifestyle and fashion shows for the football team. And I also host Washington Unfiltered for NBC Sports Washington through the Washington football team. So keeping busy covering sports in the area. I also freelance for a bunch of others, but those are kind of the 2 that many people know me for. So excited to be here with you all today.
Awesome, and we're glad to have you here today. But how did you get started in being a journalist?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I always say that journalism chose me. It's something I've always been interested in. I come from a Black Southern family, so talking is what we do. And, you always have to get your voice held up to be in a conversation in the room. And, I remember when my parents would watch the news, I would always want to be there watching it with them. I always thought it's super cool how these people are able to connect with so many different people and tell a story and storytelling. I've always been a writer. I've always loved reading. I used to be that kid that always won the book contests in schools because I always could read so quickly and get through things. But I've loved just the power of storytelling and connecting with people. And I think that's kind of what got me into journalism. So I have to thank my parents for that. And then it's a job and a career that I liked because, no day was the same. Every day was different. And just it brought new adventures and new challenges. And I've been one that likes that. I don't like a cookie cutter kind of status quo job. I like something that's out the box and different. And, growing up seeing not as many faces too that were like my own, I wanted to change that. I wanted more people to see people of color, more melanin on their screen, so our stories could be shared, our experiences could be shared. So that's kind of what got me into the field, and something I haven't let go of since.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Me and Mickey Monday is from the DMV area.
Yes.
And he's actually still there in the DMV area. So I know he has plenty of questions for you.
This is awesome. I love being amongst my own. That makes me happy. The DMV is so special and near and dear to my heart. So it's great to be in good company. I think it's the best area in the nation. So I'm biased, but that's how I feel.
Okay.
I agree with you. Definitely. So just to kind of get a better picture of, what you do as far as the amount of shows that you have and, what you're involved in, can you kind of give us a rundown of how your week or weeks look usually when you have your hand in so many different pots?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, my weeks are busy to say the least. And, since we've been in this virtual environment, I would say it probably has even picked up more. So before, I'm doing a lot of shows from my house, doing a lot of recordings from my house, much like we are now. But it takes a lot of planning and preparation that I don't think a lot of people get to see into it. So I'm watching all the sporting events and games, I'm on prep calls, I'm doing a bunch of notes, I'm trying to keep up with what's trending on Twitter, I'm trying to check the pages of the players to see if I missed anything. So it's a lot of me. I'm usually on this, my phone, or on this, my computer, because I have to keep up to date with everything. Checking my emails a lot too, because I get a bunch of those as well. And, communicating with my team, whether that be through text or email. So I'll just give an example. This week, preparing for 2 interviews with Washington football team players, and preparing for the 2 shows, as well as a TV show, as well as preparing for my show, Listen In with Caden. So I'm having Jarrett Payton join me on that. So preparing for a live stream version. And then I have 2 podcast versions of my shows. And then I also need to follow the media conferences from the Wizards, from the Washington football team, so making sure I'm keeping up in the notes. So it's busy. It's super busy, but I guess keeping I'm very organized, and I have to be because I will miss something if not. But basically, it's keeping up to date on everything, never being too out of the loop, because I also get calls to randomly go on TV shows, or go on radio shows. Right before I got on this interview with you all, 106.7 The Fan called. It's like, hey, can you come on and talk Washington football team's win against the Pittsburgh Steelers? Sure, because, I'm prepared. I'm prepped. I watched the game. I've been doing the notes. And so it's basically just always being prepared, because at any moment, anything could switch like this. You get called up to do something, and that's something as a freelancer that you always have to be ready for, because it's a reputation. I want people to know when they call me, Kelsey's going to be ready to answer the call. Kelsey is going to be ready to do the job and get the job done at her greatest ability. So it's kind of always prepping and preparing for that. But going back to my answer from before, I love that no week or no day is the same, especially for player interviews. Things switch. Sometimes it's before practice. Oh, wait, he had to get an ice bath or whatever. It's going to be after practice. Now with COVID, sometimes the player has to go home. So we're moving that. And so that means I have to also have my schedule be flexible enough to do it. And even before, I'm not allowed to go into Ashburn now, but before I was traveling to Ashburn to where the Washington football team practices, I'm doing my shows from there. But now because of the COVID-19 outbreak in the NFL, I'm doing it from home. So I had to transition to resetting up my studio, making sure everything looks nice and that people can hear me. So it's just a lot of planning and prep, and then, meeting with my team, making sure, my hair artist can come, my makeup artist can come, and also get me ready to do, on-camera stuff. So it's a bunch, to say the least, but it's fun. It keeps me busy, keeps me on my toes, and it always keeps me learning new things, which is great.
Awesome.
Woo! Yeah.
It took a lot to say that. I almost need a sip of water.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you are, that's busy. If you look in the dictionary, you're right there, right beside it. So I totally understand.
Exactly.
But yeah, like Cece mentioned, we're I guess this is a DMV interview today. So I'm in Old Bowie. And I've just kind of been here my whole life. Cece grew up here, and now she's in Atlanta. But
Yeah.
are you from the DMV area initially? Like, were you born and raised here, or?
Yes, I am born and bred. So I grew up in the Germantown, Clarksburg area. So I proudly rep Montgomery County. But I show PG a lot of love since I went to University of Maryland in College Park for undergrad. And then I went to Georgetown for grad school. So it's funny, some people call me Miss DMV because literally I've spent most of my entire career here, in addition to going to school here and getting to cover all of the teams here. So pretty much if somebody needs to know something about the DMV area, I'm one of the people to definitely come to, since it's been a great area, and I've been blessed too that my career has got to keep me here, in my hometown area.
Wonderful.
Yes,
that's wonderful. And I guess just to kind of piggyback off of that, so if you've been here this long, is the Washington football team and the Washington Wizards are those your teams? Because people have separate teams, but then they have hometown teams that they just rep because they're from that area. So right. Are the Washington football team, are the Washington sports teams your hometown teams, or are they your teams?
Yeah, that's a great question. I grew up, being fans of all the teams in the area, the Washington Mystics, the Washington Wizards. I was just on an interview earlier where I was like, I remember when John Wall first came here, when he broke out that iconic Dougie that galvanized, so many of us, being here for when the Nats started back here. I've been through and through a Washington fan. I will say, though, my football team, I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. I remind people I am from Maryland. Baltimore is in Maryland. I grew up cheering for the Baltimore team. And so it's great, though, to work with Washington. I never had hate or ill will towards Washington. Always wanted them to win growing up, of course, except when they would play the Ravens. But now it's kind of great to be able still to work on the hometown team. I've got to cover these fans for a long time. I grew up with these fans for a long time. And so getting a chance for them to embrace me and embrace the work I'm doing with the team, I really feel like it shows life coming full circle. Because, so many people say you're not going to be able to work in your hometown unless you go somewhere far and take a while to come back. That just wasn't the path for me. I didn't see myself in a super small town, and so I tried it. And luckily, hard work and my work ethic, has started to pay off. And it's been great to now get to cover this team. And hopefully this won't be the end of my journey and story. I want to make sure I am that DC sports authority that people can come to when they're looking for sports news or sports sound bites, or just to be the voice of DC sports. And so many greats have come before me. And so, I'm just trying to follow in the footsteps of so many different trailblazers in the area. So yeah, it's great to cover the teams I grew up watching. I remember when it was MCI Center. to now Verizon Center, going to Maryland. I remember, I remember going to games at Cole Fieldhouse, and then the Comcast Center, now the Xfinity Center, right? So I've been here through all the changes, but it's been fun to be a part of. I've seen people come in and out, but, it's been great. Like now we're welcoming in Russell Westbrook, in the end of the John Wall era, here for the Gilbert Arenas era, remembering that, so many just different, sports memories being here. I don't have any Washington football team ones because when they last won was the year I was born. So, I didn't get to be in on that part. But I remember still being here, watching the team, even for the RG3 era, when I think this team was at like the height, because RG3 mania was just so real, throughout the DMV area, to now seeing, the team galvanized back around Alex Smith after his terrific comeback story. Like, that's why I think it's so important to have people from the area be a part of the storytelling, because they're able to go into the community. They're able to talk to the culture, right, around the team and surrounding the team, and further story tell and connect people with the story of the sports teams.
Wow. Yeah, 100%. Oh my goodness.
I've been here a long time, basically.
Wow.
Like it's just keep in good faith that you continue to stay here and continue to build on your career, and you will be a part of the greats. Like like one person that just comes to mind is like Jim Vance. He's been here for years, and he's just, even though he's passed on, his legacy is still felt to this day. So.
Yeah, Jim Vance, was a pillar and an icon. And, he was one that we all loved. And he was one that always kept it real, professional, but kept it real and could connect to the culture. That's why we loved Jim. And that's why we were so heartbroken, of course, when he passed away. But a true icon. And, he's one of that old school greats, but like he was always able to connect you to a story in his own unique way. Like, he was just cool. He had that swag. Like, I think when most guys got older, you wanted to be like Jim Vance because he just had it going on, right? And that's the type of level, that you hope to and aim to go towards here in the DC area, because we love to see our own succeed and our people succeed, and it's carrying them with you. And that's why I'm just thankful that Washington fans have embraced me and supported me unlike none other, and I hope to keep making them happy and hopefully being able to keep delivering them content to keep them up with this team, and hopefully in my first year with the team go to the playoffs. That would be something special and something sweet, and what a time that would be for this area.
Definitely.
Speak it in existence.
Got to.
But tell us more about your radio show.
Sure, yeah. So I am the host and executive producer of Listen In with K&N. It's so crazy. I think back to starting this in 2017. And this was a way for me to kind of put my own voice into the sports media landscape in a larger way. And I have to thank, one of my good friends, Brian Waters, who pushed me to do it, because, don't just sit there and wait for the opportunity. Create your own lane. And it's called Listen In with K&N, of course, standing for my name, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. And it's a chance for viewers and listeners to just listen in or eavesdrop on a conversation I'm having with special guests. And, to date, I've had so many amazing guests join me. In the summer, when COVID happened, we made the radio show into a live stream show where people could actually watch us live and interact. And it's taken it to a whole new level because fans are actually able to interact and ask questions to my guests. So I've welcomed on Sean Marion. I've had Warren Moon. I've had Meta World Peace. I just had Congressman Burgess Owens for Utah. Like, I've had Kane, I've had wrestlers, I've had football players, current and former. Like, it's been lots of Super Bowl winners. Like, it's been amazing to me sometimes. And I pinch myself, at the guests that I've been able to have. Kurt Angle, on my show. And again, it's just a conversation. I've had Jasmine Jordan on the show. Like, it's just been amazing to have so many different people on, talk the latest and greatest in sports, have those difficult conversations. As we know, especially in the summer, we've had a lot of difficult conversations in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd, and just kind of bring it to the spotlight and have a conversation that hopefully gets society talking, gets people talking, so we can find a solution. And then, of course, it's also fun. Like, I have a fun personality, and my guests come on, we laugh, we interact with the guests, we reminisce on memories, but we do have those conversations that need to be had here in America, right? Like, we don't shy away from that. I don't shy away from that. So when people come on my show, it's unscripted. We start, we go, I'll go off of what they give me, and we go from there. But, it's great to see the success of the show. I'm just thankful grateful that people continue to push it. And that's why now we have 2 live stream shows a week. I'm dropping 2 to 3 audio versions of the show a week, just because the need is there, the want is there. And then also the guests have been incredible for me to just, reach out. Now I'm not even really reaching out. People are reaching out to me to book their guests, on my show. So it's just great to see how something I started, it's like literally my baby and my child, because I have no children. It's great to kind of see it grow and mature to the levels that it has, and really be something that people look forward to every week, not just here in the DMV, but across the nation and internationally. We've had guests on from London, we've had boxers on, we've had, basketball players in London, I've had people join me from Australia. Like, it's truly something that I hope continues to grow into a international phenomenon, where people are just really galvanizing to listen in with me and have this conversation with me, because it's me at the host seat, but again, fans are able to interact with me and talk with me and the guests and feel a part of the show. And that's what I'm really big on, is including everybody in the conversation.
Awesome. Woo!
It's been great. And also we're even expanding to like entertainment. Like, I've had people on from Sisters. It's just kind of, we've had people on from All American. Like, it's just been great to like see the show start in sports, but now kind of expand to the entertainment world. And so I'm so excited for the guest list that we have to finish this month and then going into 2021. So I have a great team. So shout out my team, because they're awesome. I've just done a phenomenal job making sure that I look my best self and can present my best self by keeping me prepared.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to tune in. I'm gonna have to definitely tune in and see who you be having on the show.
For sure. Please do. I'm telling you, it's never dull. It's always a fun conversation that we have.
Okay.
So can you tell us a little more about your residency, I would say, at Doral College? Because I know you also teach as well.
Yeah, so teaching is something, it's one of those things that wasn't on my like initial plans. I've always loved mentoring and giving back, but actually the teaching has been, again, kind of life coming full circle. Like, in college, I was a TA, but I didn't think it would go to like that professor level, at least not at my age now, but it's been incredible. And so at Doral College, which is in Doral, Florida, so right outside of Miami, it's been great. And I do it virtually. So even before COVID, I was teaching virtually. So I was kind of already used to this, but teaching intro to radio and podcasting. And it's great because I think podcasting, as we all know, has become that next frontier. More and more people are getting into it. And when I tell you, I learn so much from these students every week. I learn so much from these students every week. Their minds, are just fascinating and just mind blowing. And then on the radio side, many had thought that at one time, radio my day out, but lo and behold, radio is still here, kicking, and actually the numbers are picking up, because I think we're in this COVID environment, and sometimes you want something different to listen to, and to me, especially hearing a sports game on the radio, so much different than just hearing it on TV, because that enthusiasm is there and that excitement comes out and you really feel like you're at the game. And so the students, it's great because they have the unique chance that they're running actually their own Sirius XM station already. So they're already getting an opportunity to do this. They're being board operators. They have their own shows. They're creating their own rundowns. And I think it's such a unique experience. I'm like, I wish I had this in college. I was at my college radio station, which was barely hanging on, but we made it work. But, getting a chance to teach, I think you learn so much about yourself and the students, and they teach you as much as you teach them. And then it's great to just have people count on you and depend on you and, share the knowledge. I think it's one thing to have, knowledge for yourself, but what is it if you're not sharing and giving it back? Because at the end of the day, when I go from this world, I'm not going to be able to take that with me. So the best thing that I can do is spread it on to others to hopefully continue that, tide bank. Because you should be learning something every day. That's something I'm near and dear to you. You should learn at least one new thing every single day. You should not be the same person that you were yesterday. And these students help me to make sure that I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. And, it's just great having these students that are dependable and accountable. They keep on me for stuff. I'm going to be launching a show on their station soon, which I'm excited about, like Miss Kelsey, make sure you get this in. Like, it's great. It's really great to see that media is in really great hands with these students, not just my students, but overall, I've been so impressed to talk to students, in coming out of college or even coming out of high school, just incredible. And it's something I'm I'm thankful for the opportunity for, and teaching is something I hope to continue to grow in because I love it. I truly do. That's one of the best parts of my day is connecting with students and co-teaching with Larry at the Amigo Million, who is a sports anchor down in Miami that a lot of people know well. So it's very fun. We do so many different stories. My co-professor is Cuban, so I learned a lot about the Cuban culture too. And it's just been fun. Had Cuban coffee with them. It's been a whirlwind.
That is truly amazing. And just as you were talking, I was thinking about I don't know if you remember RSS feeds. I was like, yes. So I was gonna say when that first came out and podcasting was a thing and they were using RSS feeds, I really thought that was gonna be the future. And then it just kind of went downhill, and then like RSS feeds just disappeared.
Yeah, so look at where we are.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that it's been able to have this resurgence, and you've been fortunate enough to teach people about how to work in radio and broadcasting and how to do those things. Yeah. I think that's just awesome. Truly is.
It's for sure fun, like you said, and technology takes us so many different places. Like now, live streaming became the big thing over COVID. IG lives, Facebook live. So many people are just trying to do everything live now, so people can be a part of it because they know people are home. And eventually you get tired of watching the Law and Order SVU reruns on TV. People want that live content, and that's what we're seeing happening. That's kind of the world we're in, and so it's just great to kind of be able to follow along. Clubhouse is now the new thing that everyone's getting on. I'm still learning and mastering Clubhouse, so it's great to have students that are also able to help and teach me. TikTok, right? TikTok came, Vine went away. We're like, oh my gosh, Vine was great and it went away. Now it's TikTok. I still have yet to make my first TikTok. I made the account, but it's something I need to be on top of because again, you need to be a part of what's happening and what's new because otherwise you're going to get left behind, and your value in media is what you can bring to people. So to be able to bring something to people means you need to be on top of everything that's happening.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for that.
I'm like, wow. You do something.
I know, we taking notes.
So quick question. What do you think is going to change, or what do you think that the sports, how do you think that sports is going to be like for 2021?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think we're already seeing that because now, for one, you're not seeing as many reporters in games. We're not in the locker rooms. Like even for me, when I'm doing my show with Washington, I have yet to be face-to-face with any of the players. I'm doing my interviews with them, even in the facility through Zoom. I'm only allowed to go in the media part of the facilities. I think we're going to see this access kind of cut off as much. Now for press conferences, reporters are doing it through Zoom, which is good and bad because let's remember, if you're doing it through Zoom, you don't have that personal connection. You can kind of just feel a person and you can really get their vibe in person. You don't have that. And then also on the PR side, if there's something that they don't like that you say, it's easier to cut you off, right? Because there's a mute button. It's just a little bit easier for that end. And I think for me, thinking about like in media, sideline reporting, much different because for one, now we have hopefully you have the long mic that extends to get to the player because you have to have that social distancing, or maybe we're going to see sports cut down on sideline reporters, right? Because we're trying to keep safe and social distance. You see broadcast booths where you have one person on this end and another on this end because again, we're social distancing. And then I think also we realize how much we can work at home, which is good and bad because the good thing is that it makes it easier for people, I think, to be a part of any job anywhere, right? If you can work from home and do it. But then the bad side of that is that I think it shows that you can cut down on people. So I think we are seeing media cuts happen more and more in the media industry because there's so much more things now as technology advances that either robots can do or one person can do it instead of having 10 people to do it. So I think we're seeing media shrinking, it smaller, but we're also seeing the growth of digital media, which is great. And that's the live streams. You're seeing more teams hire digital content reporters. Two of my shows are digital for the Washington football team because what is everybody doing? We're on our phones. No matter where we go, we have our phones. We want to be able to access stuff on our phones. So the great thing about that is if you are with the digital wave, I think there is an opportunity for you in media and sports. And so, I think we're kind of following that. And I think also it's something to keep an eye on in the future in sports is with the NCAA. And if we're going to pay these college athletes, I think that's going to create a whole different dynamic too. for sports reporters to cover. So many different things happening in media. We're seeing the rise of women's sports. I think we're going to see more money poured into that and more coverage of that. So it's an exciting time for media, of course, except for those cuts. I think that's kind of been the biggest negative. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the big company layoffs as well, but hoping that there's opportunity for all of those people who unfortunately got laid off in digital space, because there's a lot of new startups as well happening because of the rise of digital media.
I agree. And well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
I'm glad you mentioned the rise in women's sports, because just the other day I heard something about NFL cheerleaders getting paid a certain amount of money. I think it's like $150 a game.
Yeah.
And you kind of look around at the space that they're in and the amount of money that other pro athletes are making as well. So I was going to ask you, just as a woman, how do you how does that sit with you, knowing that there's still a wage gap even in sports, and I don't know exactly how it goes with journalism too, but just things like that in motion that need to change. Essentially, I feel like personally as a man looking at this situation, I feel like these things should change. So like I said, how does that sit well with you?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I think unfortunately it's an age-old question that we still have not found an answer to, in the sense that, we've found progress in sports and really in society, but still not enough, where women are getting paid less on the dollar, and then Black women are getting paid even less on the dollar, of that. And it's unfair and unfortunate, even if you have the same qualifications, or sometimes even more qualifications, that this is still an issue. And you talk about cheerleaders, and I don't think people realize their significance and importance, at a game, because we're watching the product on the field. But they help for the game entertainment. They help for marketing. And to be honest, I've talked to fans who are not there for the game, but to watch the cheerleaders. It just is what it is. And they add to the excitement, of the game. And it's sad, like you said, sports leagues are bringing in so much money, but it's not always dispersed, because you look at the money athletes are making, and yes, it's a lot, but when you compare it to the overall money the franchises are making, you have to break that down. And then you look at the money the staff is making. So let's be honest, sports is a business. And what are businesses, what do they do? They're in the business to save money, right? They're in the business to make profit. So if they can, pay someone less, they're going to, quite frankly. That's why athletes have agents. That's why media talent will sometimes have agents, to make sure that you are getting your fair dollar worth, at the table, because otherwise someone might not try to do that. And I think cheerleaders have a long way to go in terms of what they get paid. The product on the field is phenomenal. You look at it, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, I forgot the name of the show, but they have literally their own show focused, just on them. Here in Washington, the First Ladies of Football, a huge brand, right, that everyone galvanized around, and we know them, we love them. They're at community events and stuff like that. So why shouldn't they get paid, to do their job at the best level? It's a big question, because, you can't just say, oh, they get to be cheerleaders. Well, that doesn't make sense, because then, that's like saying, oh, I work for the president. Oh, well, you just work for the president, so you don't need to get paid. No, that's great and all, but I also have bills. I also have a life. I also have a family. And mind you, a lot of those cheerleaders have full-time jobs that they're still trying to do. So I think it's long overdue. I think we need to get them the money that they deserve. I think what you're doing is great. It's finding those allies and finding people that are willing to talk about the issue so it doesn't drop. And so we can keep the ball on the money and make sure that these females and males, because there's male cheerleaders as well, in the National Football League, get the pay that they deserve for the work that they put in and the talent that they exhibit day in and day out.
Okay.
Well said. Yeah, and I completely agree.
Well said. So, Mickey Monday, do you have any other questions before we go into trivia?
I just have one extra question.
Okay.
So, Legacy Global Summit, right, and the Legacy Global Awards, right? So you hosted the Legacy Global Awards, correct?
I'm so sorry, I cannot hear you very well.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna try and project my voice again, because
okay.
I don't know what's going on with my computer today.
Because I know it's a great question. I just want to make sure I get it all.
Yeah. So you are part of the Legacy Global Awards. You hosted the Legacy Global Awards, and then also you were recognized with an award.
Yeah.
So can you kind of tell us, how you felt about receiving the Legacy Impact Award at the Legacy Global Awards?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So luckily, for one, I have to thank Dr. Remy Duyele for having me a part of the event. So, I mean, I'm big into sports, but I'm also big into international relations and public policy and just making the world work. So, in college, I was a broadcast journalism major with my certificate in African American studies. And so I'm big on just the Black experience in media and the world. And so to get a chance to host these awards, it's so many distinguished individuals, it was so special to me. And especially because I guess, I don't want to say I'm on the younger end of the spectrum, but I was for that event. So it's also great just to see that so many people believe in me and my capabilities. So it was very special. And then when she said my name for the award, I'm like, well, there's no way there's another Kelsey Nicole Nelson. So she really means me. And it was just special because it was something I wasn't expecting. And I don't do stuff for the awards, I just do it because I want to, and not because I do feel like, just be good and do good. Be a good person, be kind, be nice, treat others as you want to be treated. But to just see that, so many were looking at my work, it meant a great deal for me, again, especially to get it from people that have known me since I was, yay big growing up in the DMV to now being a woman. So it was just iconic. It was special. And it was something I'll truly never forget and something I'll always remember. Even though it was virtual, I will say they did a great job of making it feel as in close to in person as possible. So it was a phenomenal experience. Thank you for asking.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Exactly. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, we have 2 questions for you. We call it our trivia questions that we like to ask at the end of our interviews. Okay, so mine is, what was cool when you was young but isn't cool now?
What was cool when I was young, this could be anything, right? It doesn't have to be sports related.
It could be anything.
So I feel like when I was young, the baggy clothes were the thing, right? The big baggy jeans that everyone was wearing, your pants hanging low, where now I'm just like, no, pull your pants up, put a belt on, look professional. That's what we like to see. But before, it was the big, we all did it, right? The big 4X white tees, the jeans that were too big, and now I'm just like, no, we're adults now. We're professionals. Let's change that for the culture.
Yes, I got you. I understand that one.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That was a weird stage too. That was just a weird phase altogether. It's just you didn't know why you did it. You just went to school and sorry about it.
We were all
right.
Now we know better.
Yeah. So my trivia question is, what music artist or band would you be embarrassed to admit that you listen to?
That's a good question. What music artist or band would I be? That's a good question. I'm trying to think if there's any that I would. Okay, actually, I think I know, and I don't think many people would know this group, but I don't think there's still a group anymore. Girlicious. Do you guys know Girlicious?
I haven't heard of
them. So this was a good answer then. So they were derived from the founder of the Pussycat Dolls. If you guys remember the Pussycat Dolls, there was a whole show, and they were trying to kind of find the next girl group. And I thought they were phenomenal. They were very short-lived, but they had like a good amount of hit songs and songs that I still listen to this day. So the fact that you guys don't know them just shows me many people probably don't follow them, but I am a big Girlicious fan. So people should, I think I'm going to help their sales go up now in their music. So people should check it out.
Okay, I'm going to have to check them out then. Yeah. Awesome. But before we get off, can you tell everybody where they can follow you?
Of course, yeah. So everyone can go to my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com, and then on social media, The Real K Nelson, on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook, I'm Kelsey Nicole Nelson. If people do LinkedIn, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. And then, of course, check out my show, Listen In with Kanan, on Black Sports Radio, and all of my content with the Washington football team can be found on the team's YouTube channel and website, as well as the show on NBC Sports Washington, so you can get the NBC Sports Washington app.
Awesome. Well, I want to say congratulations.
Thank you so
on everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much.
Thanks for interviewing with us today, and continue your grind. I mean, I love your vibes, your positivity. You know, I can't wait to listen to your show. So.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, and just keep up the phenomenal work. I just love seeing Black excellence. So rooting for you both. And just keeping awesome, keeping great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you yet again. Thank you for being a part of this experience. Also, I love your energy. Amazing.
Thank
I can
you.
see why you do what you do in your work. Do really well at it. And then, yeah, hopefully when all this stuff breaks and we can actually be in public spaces again, hopefully you can come back and then you can talk about your experiences being at Ashburn and being closer with the team and your experiences and stuff there.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that. I know, like, we're in the DMV, but we still can't even, meet, which is hard. But I would absolutely be honored to come back on. And yeah, hopefully by then I'm back in studio. I miss it, even though I used to complain about the drive out there. I truly do miss it. Just because it makes a different vibe, when you're in the studio versus your home. But again, I'm all for safety, people wearing their masks and social distancing. So if I can be part of the solution, I am a happy person.
Yes. And I also want to say thanks for being in the magazine also.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it so much. Keep up the great work again. Stay safe. And yeah, just please reach out to me if I can be of help or assistance. So I appreciate it.
All right. Well, you have a happy Tuesday.
Thanks so much. You too. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.